everyone. I'm Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A big deal between Taiwan and the U.S. may be coming soon. That's according to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who put Taipei on his short list as he outlined his current trade priorities.
I think India will sort it out once they stop buying Russian oil. We've got a big deal coming with Taiwan. We'll probably get a deal done with Switzerland. Switzerland will sort its way out over time. We'll see how that works out. But those are countries that are still out there.
Lutnick gave no further details about the potential deal. Taiwan has been pushing for an agreement to reduce the 20% U.S. tariff on most of its goods that took effect August 7th. Taipei is also bracing for potential semiconductor duties under Section 232, a national security tariff probe run by the U.S. Commerce Department. Responding to Lutnick's comments, Taiwan's Office of Trade Negotiations said bilateral talks are progressing.
台美双方的关税谈判都持续推进，我们也努力争取将对等关税及232关税合并处理。那我们双方都认为，目前的谈判都有一定的进展，现在只是等待美方安排总结性的会商。
The office says it hopes a proposed tariff relief package will be passed by the legislature. Taiwan's top official for cross-strait relations is meeting with U.S. lawmakers in Washington. It comes as China ramps up military and economic pressure on the country. Mainland Affairs Council head Chiu Cui-zeng met with members of the U.S. House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. In a statement on X, Republican Representative and Committee Chair John Moolenaar said the meeting was a discussion on countering CCP disinformation and United Front activities. The two sides also discussed strengthening U.S.-Taiwan security and economic ties. The U.S. does not officially recognize Taiwan, and high-level Taiwanese visits to Washington are rare. This year's Pacific Islands Forum is wrapping up on Friday, with leaders tackling issues like climate change while greater power competition looms in the background. Caterance Quanta has more.
Leaders of Pacific Island nations gather for a photo in the Solomon Islands at an annual forum between the countries where this year at least one head of state said progress had been made.
We have made real advances in our common interests. We are all members of the Pacific family, and it's important that we cooperate on economic issues, on national security, and in dealing with the challenge of climate change.
One key outcome of this year's Pacific Islands Forum, a joint call by all participating nations for a, quote, ocean of peace, proclaiming their desire for peace and cohesion and taking a stand against great power competition in the region.
I think there is a concern that the great power competition between the People's Republic of China and the United States of America is now impacting even the running of the annual Pacific Island Forum. Also, don't forget, there's long been a concern of Pacific Islands that they don't become victim to this competition between the two powers and that they get trampled underfoot.
This year, the host, the Solomon Islands, announced that none of the forum's external partners would be invited, effectively barring countries that normally have a seat at the table, including Taiwan, the U.S., and China. The move reportedly followed pressure from Beijing to exclude Taiwan as it seeks to deepen its reach in the region. Taiwan has only 3 remaining diplomatic allies in the Pacific, after several switched recognition to China in recent years, including the Solomon Islands. And even without an invite this year, Beijing's presence still loomed large. For one, this year's meetings took place nearby a large stadium built and financed by the Chinese government. And China has appeared to ramp up an influence campaign, including providing hundreds of thousands of dollars in support for the Solomon Islands police force to help with summit preparations. But experts say, despite China's efforts, there are high hopes for Taiwan's future at the forum, especially as next year's event will be hosted by official ally Palau.
With Palau hosting the Pacific Island Forums next year, with Palau having diplomatic relations with Taiwan, I think we can rest assured that President Whips will make sure that Taiwan and all of the dialogue partners will be invited.
Still, great power competition is likely to continue playing a part in future forums, its members made up of mostly tiny island nations with large strategic importance. Delphine Chen and Cadence Caranta for TaiwanPlus.
China has declared a nature reserve on a disputed shoal in the South China Sea. The move has angered the Philippines and sparked a protest from Taiwan, which both see the shoal as their own. John Van Trieste has this report.
The seas are calm around the Scarborough Shoal out in the South China Sea, but the air is filled with fresh tension. Both the Philippines and China lay claim to this uninhabited shoal. It's small but rich in fish stocks and sits astride one of the world's key shipping routes. Beijing seized it in 2012, and now it's looking to cement its control by declaring a nature reserve over the area. The Philippines is angry. Though sovereignty over the shoal has never been formally settled, an international court did reject China's claims over it and much of the South China Sea in 2016. A spokesperson from the Philippine Foreign Ministry protested the development using her country's preferred name for the shoal, Bajo de Masinloc. In these disputed waters, even the place names are contested.
The Philippines strongly protests the recent approval by the State Council of China of the establishment of the so-called Wangyan Island National Nature Reserve. Bajo de Masinloc is a long-standing and integral part of the Philippines, over which it has sovereignty and jurisdiction.
But China rejects the 2016 court ruling. It says the new reserve shows it's a good custodian of the shoal, which it refers to as Huangyan Island, and a responsible global power concerned about the environment.
黄岩岛是中国的固有领土，建立黄岩岛国家级自然保护区是中方主权范围内的事，旨在保护黄岩岛的生态环境，维护黄岩岛自然生态系统多样性、稳定性、持续性。
China and the Philippines aren't the only claimants, though. Taiwan, too, considers most of the South China Sea to be its territory. Taiwan even has yet another name for the shoal, 民主礁 or Democracy Shoal.
中国完全无权在我国的民主礁非法片面划设保护区。中国政府的单边举措，凸显其霸权心态，是区域和平稳定的破坏者，恐将引发区域国家间的争端。
While holding firm to Taiwan's sovereignty over the shoal, the foreign ministry says Taiwan is willing to work with the Philippines and others to peacefully resolve disputes. But the dispute over this shoal is more than a geopolitical tussle. In the Philippines especially, the waters around it are important fishing grounds. Those most directly affected, Filipino fishers, are deeply angry at China's nature reserve. From their point of view, it's not even the South China Sea, but the West Philippine Sea. And they say China has not been as eco-conscious in the region as it says.
Hipokrito sila, no?
They are hypocrites. The government of China are hypocrites. How could they declare Scarborough Shoal in the West Philippine Sea as theirs to build a nature reserve? They are the ones destroying it in the first place.
A complex web of claims and counterclaims involving 7 countries, Taiwan included, make the South China Sea one of the world's geopolitical hotspots. And China's new nature preserve is turning the temperature up. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
China's most advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian, has passed through the Taiwan Strait on its way to the South China Sea. The vessel will be China's 3rd aircraft carrier once it completes sea trials and enters service. A spokesperson for China's Navy says this is a routine mission without any specific target. There is speculation the Fujian could enter service soon, as China's last aircraft carrier was tested on a similar timetable. Taiwan's defense ministry says it used reconnaissance to get an understanding of the situation and respond appropriately. What should Taiwanese people do if China were to invade? A new guidebook from Taiwan's National Security Council aims to answer that question. With its bright cover and illustrations, this may look like a children's book, but the information it contains is deadly serious. It's a guide on what to do in the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Reuters got a first look at the newest initiative from Taiwan's National Security Council to prepare its citizens for a day they hope will never come.
我们必须要在手册当中很清楚告诉全民，就是台湾并不会屈服于任何军事威权的侵略。好，那我们并不会投降。好，这个概念必须要让所有民众都能够建立起这样的心法。
The booklet contains essential information on how China might attack Taiwan, from sabotage like severing undersea communication cables to an all-out invasion. It tells readers which radio stations to tune into for emergency alerts, where to find bomb shelters, and what supplies to pack in a go bag. Defense officials hope that the more people understand the threats they face and the actions they can take during wartime, the better they'll be able to react if the time comes.
那另外特别我们也强调千万不要上传国军的这些行动这些影片或者是拍摄这样会泄露国军的行迹对这个国军的防卫作战是不利的所以我们这个也是提醒民众，除了要保护自身的安全然后也要这个确保相关的作为跟规定，然后来支持我们的军事作战。
And learning how to react in an emergency is something everyone can do starting from a young age. The book gives guidance to parents on how to discuss these sensitive issues with their kids.
我们其实也希望能够提供一些基本的指引让爸爸妈妈能够更这个轻松的去跟小朋友做说明那当然目的不是要让大家感受到害怕，而是这些所有的内容都是希望能够让民众在真正危机发生的时候，你有一个更好的应对的方式。
With China's ongoing threats to take Taiwan by force, the NSC hopes this booklet can help prepare citizens for the worst-case scenario so that they can protect themselves and the country. Alex Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus. Hundreds of pieces of art from Taiwan, including the famous Jadeite Cabbage, are on display in Prague for the first time. It's part of a collaboration between Taiwan's National Palace Museum and the Czech Republic. Irene Lin reports.
In Prague, all eyes are on Taiwan's national treasure, the Jadeite Cabbage. In its exhibition, 100 Treasures, 100 Stories, Taiwan's National Palace Museum is showing off some of its most famous pieces in the heart of Europe. It's the first time the collection has been shown in the city, and the first time it's been abroad in over a decade. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Jialong and Cultural Minister Li Yuan joined Czech officials at the opening ceremony.
When I was in Taiwan, I saw the pork, and now I finally saw cabbage, so I have it complete, I have to say. It's really beautiful. We are very, very happy to have this opportunity, and it's really friendship when we have such a great partners in Taiwan who have trust in us.
Taiwan has been working to introduce its culture in Europe this year. Earlier in June, the foreign minister took a European delegation to watch an original musical about Dutch colonial history in Taiwan. And now this exhibition in Prague signals a continuation of cultural exchanges between Taiwan and the Czech Republic. The National Palace Museum's director says it only lends its most precious pieces to its true friends.
这次展览非常具有很大的象征意义，就是台捷文化交流另外一次重大的一个里程碑，提出策划捷克文物的展览到台湾展出。那国立故宫博物院未来将持续开放的态度。
Foreign Minister Ling's stop in Prague is part of a 10-day tour around Europe to strengthen Taiwan's ties. The ministry has kept its schedule a secret to prevent interference. The exhibition runs through December 31st. Enough time, officials hope, to introduce Taiwan's multifaceted cultural heritage, first to Prague, then to the world. Fu Huahong and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we take you to London for the opening of the Taipei Representative Office's new location in the UK. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.